Podcast number 2. Here's Jean-Philippe talking today to you about how to learn. I believe in school they don't teach us properly how to learn. And Alex Hormosis said it well. He said, same circumstances, different behaviors. That's the summary of learning. If there is the same circumstances, but you don't change your behavior afterward, that means you didn't learn. And the way to measure it how fast change happens, Alex says it's the way of the speed. It's like the intelligence. So if you change your behavior really quickly, then you're quote unquote more intelligent than someone that changed his behavior less fast than the other one. Then for you think about the whole thing, we don't really have good processes in place in order to take all the information that we have, digest it, and apply it into our very lives. How many times it happens that someone gives us a tip, that we have information on a TV, that we have an advice from a friend, or we read a book and there's lots of information in there as well, or a video, a TikTok, whoever the source, external source, it's very rare that we take this information and we seriously apply it into our lives. Why? Why? Because we don't necessarily have a strong process in place. And it's been many, many years that I started take all the external knowledge that I get. And obviously I do summaries when I read a book or when I listen to a video in order to learn. But then I make a summary in bullet points, right? And you take those bullet points and those should be turned into golden nuggets. You take those golden nuggets and you put them into a list of either behavior or habits and beliefs. Everything you read in my system has the goal to either find a new belief or a new habit that you want to apply into your very life in order to better your life. And at the end of the day, everything you read, it's either, and a large portion of everything that you receive as external information is junk, is garbage, is not useful. I would almost say 95% of it. But out of the 5%, it's plenty of golden nuggets. So we currently live in an era where there's so much information and way too much information and even fake information. And the biggest problem is to be able to know what of all this information, what's the part of it that goes into the junk, the garbage, and what's the part that goes into the 5% that can make us grow, that can make us think differently, that can make us change our behavior, habits, and change our belief. And the moment you start to do this either on paper or on an Excel spreadsheet, which is what I'm doing right now, I have this tab where I list automatically when I gather information, I list automatically the one that I want to keep as golden nuggets, as habits or beliefs. And it goes into a tab of implementation in my life. I cannot implement every single thing that I learn right away the same day because I gather much more information that I can sort of digest and invest and implement. Therefore, it goes into my list and then I have my calendar and I apply those new beliefs or new habits in order of priorities, right? And the first time that I learned this was when I was 12 years old, and then I read the biography of Benjamin Franklin given by my uncle. And he has done that when he was much younger. Benjamin Franklin had listed, I think it was 13 values, and it was not just listing them and sort of implemented and that's it. It was all listed in a sense of he was making a follow-up in terms of knowing which one he has done and which one he hasn't every single day. And at the end of the week, he would have looked at all the values that he applied in his life and put a little dot every single day or not, if he would have done it or not. And if he did, then he would count, say, on a certain week, oh, I applied everything that I just listed 4 days out of 7. And his big goal is to go 7 on 7 couple of weeks in a row in order to confirm that he applied it properly in his life. And this is what I've done for a long time now. And this is simply a suggestion, an invitation for you to think about and to potentially apply into your very life, because it did change my life. And what is the opposite of it? I don't know if you already heard this sentence. Fail to plan is plan to fail. So if you don't plan how you will absorb the information and apply it in your life, then you're currently planning to fail this very important process in your life. And it can seriously change many things. Of course, it requires a little bit of energy in terms of implementing the system at first, but then when it's applied, it's automatic. I just go in my Excel spreadsheet whenever I read a book or whatever, I write it down, and then since I have it, then I look it up almost every morning and I see what I should sort of apply, what I have the opportunity to follow up to see how I can apply it. And then once it's mastered, sometimes it takes 2 weeks, sometimes it takes 2 months or more, then I'm super proud of me, I'm super happy, and then I can focus on another one. And sometimes I apply a couple in the same time, and so sometimes it's much harder habits or beliefs to implement in my head, in my life, and then I don't apply it, I go one at a time. So that's an opportunity for you as well. And at the end of the day, yeah, if we don't do that, how many times we heard useful information and we didn't do anything about it? Just imagine you invest time into either listening advices in a conference, for example, or in a video online, and you're like, oh, that's a good tip, but you don't write it down, then the chances of you applying it in your life and making a follow-up of you and making sure that you seriously do it is very low, as opposed to you list them out in priorities in your document that you look every single day, and then you think, all right, today I must do this because it's listed, and that's it. It's seriously changed my life. And I know so many people that went to a conference with a book. You know, they give you a notebook in the beginning of the conference. And it happens to me a long time ago. You write down lots and lots of notes, and what do you do with those notes when you go home? You put it in a shelf and you think, oh, one day I'll read it out because I might need it. Nobody reads that. Almost nobody reads that. Therefore, you just lost a lot of time. Because, as I said in the beginning, same circumstances happen to you and you have the very same behavior. That means you didn't apply what you just learned. Therefore, you didn't learn at all. And the opposite is same circumstances happen to you, but you have different behavior, different habits, different way of reacting, different beliefs, and you completely can slowly change your life. And I invite you to read about habits, because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, your beliefs are looping in your head and it counts as a habit as well. And in the physical world, you do some habits and it's looping. You're always doing, or almost always doing the same. Therefore, learning and knowing how you can change those mental habit, the loops, and those physical habits in the real world is golden, is key. My strong suggestion. So let's go one more time in step by step. If you learn something, make sure you have your list next to you. You have a list of habits and a list of beliefs. The moment you read something interesting, you take it as a golden nugget between few words and maximum 2 sentences or something, and you list it out in your either paper or Excel spreadsheet. And once you have it, you can put it in order as priorities. Once you have the priorities, then you know, and you just have to put in the calendar. once it's in the calendar, every morning you wake up, you take a look at the Excel spreadsheet, and you make sure that you do a little bit of all of it, or if you had only one written, the one that you wrote down, and perfecto. But at the end of the day, in order to really implement the whole thing, you have to prioritize and you have to value this process. And in order to value this process and value the fact that it will bring a lot of positive thing in your life, you also have to value yourself. And now it's a discussion about self-esteem, which is very big in a sense of if you don't believe that you deserve a better life, if you don't think and you have the sort of a limiting belief that you don't deserve what is best for you and issues about self-esteem, then you have an opportunity to work this out as inner change, shadow work, and by doing this shadow work, that could be, you can make some research online about what is shadow work, and I'll probably do a podcast as well. But once you do some shadow work, you will start slowly believing that you indeed have high self-esteem. And with that self-esteem, you'll be able to start that process. But you have to put some values and to prioritize it, because so many of us know perfectly that in order to be in good shape, we have to work out, but we don't necessarily do it. And I would personally blame myself, and it happened in the past, that I had belief that prevented me from investing time into taking care of my body. And it wasn't because I didn't believe that sports was boring or exercise or was boring. It was more that I had limiting belief about my self-esteem, and I thought that I didn't deserve it. And the way to sort of start deserving it is there are multiple things to do. One is letting go, and I explained that in the podcast yesterday in French. And then there's other processes, right? Surrounding yourself with people with high self-esteem will influence you and inspire you to do so. This is what I've done in the past, and it is a good thing that happened. So I strongly suggest that for you. But generally speaking, if you're able to value this process, prioritize this process, so that you really, really have a growth mindset in order to go to the next level. And therefore, if you do this, you will be able to change your life. And something that I really, really enjoy is when you have the coach mindset, then with this coach mindset, not only you have to become the best version of yourself, but you use this coach mindset in order to inspire the people around you and become the best version, not just for yourself, but for the people like your kids, if you want to inspire them, or your family. This is why the coach mindset changed my life, because even though there are some habits that I used to have that were not that good for me, I decided to change them a little bit for me, a little bit for my health, but a lot for my family, knowing that what I've done will change their lives as well. So it's not so selfish. It's really, really, really to contribute and inspire others and the people that I like. And it works. So this is it. This is it, my friend. This is it.